growth and scalability, scalability and growth. I spent some time this week looking at my consulting services and business, and we're really am looking to roll out not roll out new product or new services, but how best to explain to people how I can help them. And I thought, how best to explain to people how I can help them, then look back at what my current clients or past clients who've been most successful have shared. And interestingly enough, they've shared things that go with this word scalability. So it fits in perfectly with where we are right now, what I want us to look at today. And I actually want to share with you not so much what they said, but what leads to what they say. And the thing they do say, I will tell you this, is their ability to see their client's journey within their business and how that leads them to be able to connect the dots with their systems. I've said this once, I'll say it a million times. People are creating systems and processes every day, and they don't know how the fuck they work. So I'm working on my front desk process. I'm like, great, what happens after this? I don't know. I'm working on my plan of care process, how to sell plan of care. Great. What happens after this? I don't know. What information from upstream are you using in this system and process? I don't know. So it's not that that process or system is wrong, but that process and system is worth far more as a piece of a puzzle being connected to other steps. And this is what I call the rules of patient engagement. This is the work to be done because it's how you manage people. It's the systems and processes from first contact, even marketing. We can go all the way back because first contact is typically sales, all the way through a completed plan of care, into after programs, into wellness programs, into continuity programs, into all that. And how you manage people is based on understanding their life cycle within your business. Part one. Part two is you understand the flow of a business. All right. So I actually want to share my screen here. Let me do this real quick with you guys. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I think the best thing is just to show you. All right. I think you can see this. Yeah. Did I pick the right thing? Hold on. Let's do this again real quick. Just so you can tell this is actually live. Here, we're going to do this one. There we go. That's what I wanted. All right. I want you guys to understand when I say the flow of the business, or I say, right, the journey of your clients, the journey of your client in your business, I actually want you guys to see this. So this is actually, right, the flow of a client in your business. This is your patient, client, customer's journey within your clinic, practice, business. It may not be 100%, but it's damn close. If you have a healthcare practice, if you have a physio practice, if you have a physio business, I don't give a shit what you do or where you do it. This is pretty damn close to your patient's life cycle, your client's life cycle within your business. This is step number one. This is the feedback I get back from my most successful clients saying, I finally understood this, so I could start to build out the systems and connect the systems that I already had in place. The people I'm currently helping, they're 50, 60, 70, 80% to true success. They have all these parts, they have these systems, but damn it, they know they're just not functioning properly. Because why? Because they don't understand how they're connected. I love the analogy. Having all these systems and processes without your patient life cycle in place is like walking into a room and there's a 1,000 puzzle pieces on the floor, but you know what's missing? It's the box top. It's the puzzle cover box, right? The piece that shows you the final picture. This is the final picture. You plug the pieces of the puzzle into this to create what? The patient experience that you want to create. All right. Now, the second part of this, cool, got my client's journey. And this is what else I figured out. We must know the flow of the business. So this is the flow of a client in your business. This is the flow of a business. And you guys have all seen this. If you've followed me more than 5 minutes, you've all seen this. Right? Attraction is marketing, sales is selling. Right? And if we understand our patient's life cycle and we break it up into phases, we understand that the attraction is phase one of my patient's life cycle. And all these can be instantaneous or can be months, can be years, right? But we got to understand where to overlay the marketing onto my patient's life cycle. We've got to understand where are the cell cycles and where do the cell systems go. That excitement and retention, right? Excitement is really just a subset of retention, right? Where do all the retention systems go? Then how are these all connected? How do I connect my marketing to my sales, to the retention programs, right? And then how do I feed them back into the other parts of the business, right? Everything I learned during these sales cycles must go back into my marketing systems. That's how you become more efficient. That's the terminology for scalability. I scale up, right? By gaining more efficiency and making more profit with a higher volume. Everybody else is, oh my God, right? And I've had my clients, they said I scaled up to the point of either A, having to figure out how to manage this, or B, I was going to have to close down. So basically everybody else, everybody scales to this point. It's it's a finite point. I'm just so busy all the time. And it's because you don't have the efficiencies in place. And you're seeing more people and you're inefficient at it. And if your profit isn't changing as your numbers grow up, then you don't have the scalability and the efficiencies in place, right? And the magic of this all coming together, right? The growth and scalability, successful businesses, right? That framework for business success is the overlay of the business flow on your patient's journey. And that's what I was just describing to you. Phase one, phase two, phase three, phase four. As a patient is moving through their journey within my business, what systems, what business systems am I focused on? Marketing, sales, retention, referral, all those things. So this is really wanted to give you this visual. I'm going to stop sharing here. Really wanted to give you this visual of what scalability looks like. That's it. Because remember, you got to have scalability to accommodate growth. Scalability comes first. So before you ever have a patient, you should have that patient life cycle mapped out. You should have that whole flow of the business in your mind as you're creating your systems today to accommodate one patient, two patients. I always love it because early on, you have 10 patients. When you had 10 more, your business is doubled. You're feeling that impact far greater than going from 100 to 200, right? 1,000 to 2,000, right? That doubling early on is huge. And so the work you do early on to accommodate that growth, to make sure, right, people move through their life cycle within their business and you know where they are at all times in your business is going to be huge for you. Setting up automations, setting up communication, setting up proper follow through. And I'm not just talking the sales process. You need automation and follow through during retention. You need it after their course of care is completed, right? If you want to move someone into a wellness or a post course of care problem, it must be baked into your front end sales system, right? So you can see how this is all coming together. And if I understand my client's journey and I understand them, I want them in this wellness program, then I know how to put this conversation around the wellness program into earlier sales cycles, into the retention part, into the automation during the selling and retention and referral phase. So I want to give you guys all that the visual around what scalability looks like. And what it looks like is understanding your patient's life cycle within your business, then understanding the flow of the business that overlays the patient life cycle, And then lastly, this big thing that I haven't said, but I'm going to just finish with it, is these are the rules of engagement. All the systems coming together from initial contact all the way through to a completed course of care and into a wellness program, all those systems bundled up together are what I call your rules of engagement. That's the most important scalable part of this. And see, if you don't understand the flow of the business and you don't understand your patient's life cycle, you don't understand how to connect patient, right? The flow and how to manage patient engagement from first contact all the way through to the end. But once you do understand it, you take that information from the sales conversation, you bake it into the emails and all the communication pre-arrival. And then once they arrive, the same words and same conversation and their goals and their desires and their expectations are shared already. And right. And they arrive and the provider already has all this. And then it moves through to each of the visits during the course of care to increase the likelihood of a completed plan of care. The rules of engagement, the rules of client-patient engagement within your business. Those are the systems all bundled up to do what? Create scalability and growth. It's good stuff, man. This is similarity with all my patients, or all my clients, all my clients coming back, right? Sharing what was their biggest takeaways, right? And understanding once they got that, things became far more efficient. They were able to share easier. They were able to create easier. They were able to connect dots easier once they understood all that. And by the way, once you do all that, it's easier to step out of the business and get some of that freedom, that time freedom that you always wanted. Now you got more time to work on the business instead of in the business. That's the second biggest feedback I get from my group. They finally had the ability to step out of the patient care. Because why? Because now they understood all that. So it's easier to share with their team. It's easier to hold people accountable, right? The metrics of success, all that comes with all this, right? So if we start with this scalability mindset, all this stuff I just mentioned all starts to flow downstream from scalability. Right now, and I did it, right? We're just reaching from everywhere. We don't see the flow of things. So we create this system and then we create this, but we don't know how it connects to the other one. And we're doing a lot of work over and over and over. This is trying to fix our cancel problems, trying to fix drop-offs, right? If you have drop-off cancel issues, it is what it is, but it's because you don't understand the flow, right, of the client, patient, customer through your business, and you can't go upstream to manage it better. And that's where those rules of engagement come in. Rules of engagement diminish and get rid of drop-offs, diminish and completely eliminate no-shows. No-shows, 0. And completely and eliminate to the floor, right, whatever the baseline is, cancels. So the way I get people's cancel rates down, the way I get their drop-offs almost non-existent and do get the no-shows non-existent is we bust our ass to understand those two things. And then we map out and we put the systems and process is in place for their rules of engagement. The beauty with the rules of engagement, client engagement, is they're used for your current team, but they're also used during the hiring process. The rules of engagement become your culture. So when someone comes in and says, how do you manage this? How do you manage that? Or before they ever do, you show them that and you go, this is how we work here. This is how we manage our client, customer, patients. Here's a side note. It doesn't tell people how to treat, and it doesn't tell them how many visits to schedule, because that's your job. And if I have the rules of engagement down and I allow my providers to work at the top of their license, right, and I have the referral processes in place, then it all fixes itself. Remember, patient success, my friends, leads to business success. I'm not telling PTs how to treat people, but goddamn, I better see drop-offs at a minimum. I better see cancels at a minimum. And that's because the team's coming together behind this completed plan of care, which is the ultimate patient and business goal. And we can't figure that out we understand the flow of the business and the flow of a patient, right? Through our business, their life cycle. You see all this stuff just circles back on itself. Cool. Appreciate your time today. This is good stuff, man. Really want you to sit down and really think about that patient life cycle and what systems you have in place and how you've connected those systems. All right. Cheers all.